Good day, everyone. Welcome to my show. Welcome to Partners in Health and Biz. I'm your host, natural health consultant, weight loss coach Gail Dixon McBride, and I'm so very happy that you tuned in today. And today I'm very excited because I have a special guest with me. And my special guest, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Okay. So my special guest is Miss Montria Martin. Yes. And here's a little bit of background about her. Okay, so Miss Montria Martin is a family nurse practitioner who has had a passion for health and wellness since she was a child. She actually grew up overweight and lost 50 pounds naturally. Her weight loss journey started when she began taking dance classes. And her dance instructor taught the class how healthy eating yields better performance. And from then on, Montria developed a strong passion for health and her personal experience, which led her to pursue nursing. Now, throughout her nursing career, she worked as a stroke nurse at Johns Hopkins Hospital, a postpartum nurse for mothers and newborns, and a medical case manager for foster children. She has also led a medical weight loss program for a large corporation and has helped her patients lose nearly 100 pounds. Now, eventually, Montria decided to advance her career as a nurse practitioner of her own practice and start her own practice to build the gaps between weight loss and its impact on health behaviors and weight related conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. So, without further ado, I'd like to present to you family nurse practitioner Miss Montria Martin, founder and CEO of Harvest Weight and Lifestyle Medicine. Good morning, Montria. How are you?
Good morning, Miss Gail. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm great, great. So happy to hear from you and see you. And this is such a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And my listeners, and they are so excited to hear all about what you do and how you help people manage their weight because it's so
Yes, thank you for
important.
having me.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
absolutely.
Especially according some of the research I've done shows that according to the CDC, the percentage of adults age 20 and older with obesity is 40.3%. And that's wow, that is really high.
Mhm.
Obesity and severe obesity prevalence in adults in the United States from 2021 through August 2023 shows that percentage of adults age 20 and older with overweight and obesity 72.4%. So, with that said, I'd like to ask you a few questions and you can let us know how everything works. And because Montria, I have a lot of friends and I have some clients who are dealing with being overweight and obese. And so, but some people look at people and they judge people, which they shouldn't, because they think, oh, you should just stop eating, or it shouldn't be that hard. But in your opinion, professional opinion, why is weight loss so much harder than people think?
Well, weight loss is a dynamic chronic condition, and it's more than just a matter of eating too much, not exercising enough. And there are also medical conditions and physical limitations that individuals experience that limit them from being able to put forth a full effort towards lifestyle changes. And there are also medications that cause patients to have heartier appetites and experience a dysregulation in the hormones that are related to our appetite and our fullness. But with my practice, we address the root of weight loss. So that's through a counseling format addressing the diet, the exercise, and the behaviors that we come with that have led to the accumulation of weight over time and have led to habits that have been solidified and false beliefs in the system that society has brought into our culture. So we break down those barriers and then we build up in small step approaches so that patients can develop those new habits bit by bit and get used to adapting to those lifestyle changes instead of turning a switch on and off and immediately making changes that become unrealistic and non-sustainable, leading to that cycle of gain and loss without really making true change. After that, we know that there are weight loss medications that become accessible for patients, but what makes this practice and this approach stand out is that we do some of that root work first so that we create a foundation to amplify how the synthetic format of the GLP-1s work through the medications. And then that way we can minimize those side effects that they're related to, and patients can walk away without depending on those medications and with breaking those myths that they've believed all their lives and walking away with the tools that it takes to sustain their results in losing weight and keeping weight off.
Okay, excellent. So, GLP-1. Now, a lot of people have seen these commercials on television saying that you can take the GLP-1 medication. But what exactly is GLP-1 for people who are not familiar with it? Maybe they're thinking maybe I should ask my doctor about it because I'm overweight or I'm obese. What exactly is it and what does it do for people when they take it?
Yes, so GLP-1 is not the only weight loss medication out there. There are other weight loss medications out there, even as far back as in the 70s and 80s when a format of phentermine, which was related to what was previously called fen, came out. But GLP-1 is now the most commonly used medication, specifically now Zepbound, which is the most commonly used due to its high effectiveness. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptides. So that's a hormone that we already have naturally, in addition to a plethora of other hormones that regulate our hunger and our appetite and our cravings and our satisfaction levels and things like that. GLP-1 is produced in our gut. So it's produced in the intestines where food is processed and break down in. And then it registers up to our hunger center in our brains to regulate our hunger and our satisfaction and allowing us to stop eating when we get full and then to feel full for a specific amount of time and then to have normal regulated hormones as far as hunger and satisfaction that lead to a balanced intake of food. GLP-1s, they work for us in our favor by slowing down that digestive process. So it keeps food in you longer. That's why patients end up getting fuller faster and they stay fuller longer because the food is still in the stomach for longer and it moves out of the stomach slower. With GLP-1s in a traditional setting, let's say primary care or an unspecialized setting, let's say maybe you go to your endocrinologist or your GYN, they're seeing other patients, so they may not see you as often as they should in order to supervise you and make sure that they're not accelerating the dosage as much as they can. Instead, we should be looking at the body and how fast we're losing weight, and also we should be looking at how the patient's feeling, if they're experiencing any of those side effects, so that we can minimize a lot of these horror stories that are out coming out with complications and deaths and things like that, or inappropriate usage. So through Harvest, we make sure that not only we work on the lifestyle changes, but we also listen to what the body is doing. Is the body tolerating it? Or is the body losing too quickly and causing other side effects? And then the lifestyle, of course, making sure that we're minimizing those side effects such as constipation or nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, and all those types of things that we want to avoid to make sure that safety is the priority.
Okay. And so that's a lot. And so there are lots of different weight loss programs out there. And I've had my clients tell me they went to this weight loss program and they went to that weight loss program and they really it
Hmm.
didn't really work for them.
Yeah.
So what makes Harvest different from the typical weight loss programs that many people have tried?
Yes, well, in a simple answer, it's safety and it's also individuality. So, one, safety is the priority. I don't use any compound medications. In the state of Maryland, at least, we've tried to transition over from compound medications now. Compound medications are when a patient can go to a Mediclinic or a spa or an online service where they can obtain a format of GLP-1 versus the potent traditional form of GLP-1 as it's processed and regulated through the FDA. Instead, a compound would be some of that GLP-1 formulated with some other substances. I wouldn't know all of the substances because I haven't created it myself, but I know that it consists of maybe other vitamins and any other substance that they may experience that could potentially help to amplify the impacts of GLP-1. Those substances have not been researched as far as safety and effectiveness compared to use of the potency of the traditional GLP-1s like Zepbound, Wegovy, those brand names. Other names they may be found under would be like semaglutide or tirzepatide, which are the generic formats. But at Harvest, we use the FDA approved medications in a way where they have been studied and we follow how they are dosed. And that's the key there. The compounds may have different dosages that we're not familiar with, where the FDA approved medications have the exact dosages that have been studied to help with the weight loss as we should see it result. With Harvest, again, we listen to the body. So we evaluate on a monthly basis how the patient is tolerating the medication. If they're experiencing symptoms such as nausea, instead of just giving an anti nausea medication first, we make sure that the lifestyle is standardized and that it is optimized in a way where we're limiting the risk of nausea happening. So we want to make sure that we are not exposing the patients to develop nutritional deficiencies if they're not consuming enough nutrition, which is a big challenge for patients who come into the weight loss space and they automatically think, okay, I need to eat as little as possible. I've already restricted everything and now I'm ready for medication. That's going to put you in a lot of trouble. We want to make sure that you're not going to put yourself in the position to lose muscle because you're not getting in enough nutrition, to have diarrhea because you're not getting in enough fiber from carbs that you should be eating. So there sometimes we have those patients that may come in with that mindset, or like you said, may come in where they've taken the compound, they're not losing weight, they're not eating, they're exercising. So it's kind of mixed all over the place. So we really make sure, again, we get to the root, we build a stable foundation where you're understanding how you should be eating according to what you come with in your body composition, what energy you're putting out through exercise, and making sure that you're fueling your body appropriately. And then also closing the gaps for those GI symptoms, making sure that you're getting enough fiber and enough water and enough protein so that you're just healthy to begin with. And then reevaluating what your weight is doing. If you're losing weight, after making those changes, that's great. There's no need to accelerate that process. That could then lead to other side effects and complications. If we're losing weight too quickly, you will tend to lose muscle. You could experience kidney injury and other complications, especially if you have other medical conditions like diabetes. Now you could dysregulate your blood sugar, or thyroid issues. Now you could put your thyroid off balance. So we want to make sure that the whole picture is there in this medical setting.
Wow. Well, that makes sense. It's a lot of different components to losing weight safely, because it's
Yes.
one. It sounds like exactly what your company does. You make sure that everything is lined up. Is the food, the
Mm-hmm.
exercise, and even there's stress
Mm-hmm.
management. That I help people with stress management, and all of that can determine
Mm-hmm.
how fast or slow, or how a person's going to lose weight in a healthy way. um,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people do want to know, Montria, does someone have to be on GLP-1 medication for life, or or is it just like once they start, can they stop at some point?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Once you start, you can stop at some point. There's a lot of different views out there. But what I'll say is, one, it depends. It always depends. It's always going to be a case by case study, and we're always doing research. So these medications are fairly new. They have not been out for 20 plus years, and medicine is constantly evolving. So we're still doing research. We're doing lifelong studies on how the medication can be applied in various formats, even with these different medical conditions that they're trying to use GLP-1s for. But in the setting of weight loss, we should always be treating based on the first line basis, which is diet and exercise and behavior. So, not just a strict restrictive diet or an overly intensified exercise regimen, but we want to be realistic with following the guidelines for that, making sure that we've optimized exercising while taking the medication. At Harvest, you don't have to be perfect to start taking it. We do want to make sure that a structure is there with getting started. So making sure you're doing like the minimum of making sure you're eating properly according to your preferences and your medical conditions, and then making sure that you're getting started with moving more frequently and then building from there. By the time that we make it towards the end of the journey, where maybe the BMI criteria, which is the body mass index, amount of fat that's on your body, leveled out and measured aligned with your height that we measure for the state of health that you're in, and reduces your the reduction of your medical conditions. We use the BMI to account for how we use the GLP-1s. So if your BMI puts you in that obese category and now it brings you down to the overweight category, and now you're kind of on the borderline of a normal weight or whatever your weight goal is, as you inch closer towards that, that's when we'll start the tapering process. That still is being researched, so there's no particular way of doing it. But as far as what I've seen to be more effective is following how the body responds each time that we reduce the dose. So reducing the dose slowly and until we meet a dose where you feel comfortable that you can maybe stay on until your body reaches a normal weight or until you meet your goal, with the overall goal of coming off of the medication. Each time that we reduce the dose, we can give your body time to adjust, and how your hunger cues may start to come up again from being on that medication and not really realizing how much your hunger has diminished, and then allowing you to safely increase the calories that are necessary to sustain your body, making sure that you're getting enough protein and reducing muscle loss, making sure you're filling up each time that you're eating properly so that you can feel satisfied each time, which also reduces your cravings along the way. So kind of introducing those practices consciously and giving you some form of empowerment, knowing that through your lifestyle, as you taper down the dose, you're optimizing your diet and your exercise regimen to feel more full in a way that you can kind of cope with. And then practicing moderation. With the medication, you may not feel that urge to go out for a piece of cake. But now that you're starting to, you don't have to eat the cake every day or buy the cake in the house, you know. So it's a full comprehensive counseling format, each step along the way, versus in a traditional setting or a non-specialized setting outside of weight loss, where you may get your dose reduced and not really get any of that additional support. So we close those gaps.
Okay. Yes, so that's what I help people with, because so many of my clients are saying, I'm on this medication, I'm on that medication. My goal is to get off of medication. And
Mhm.
so once they are on that GLP, and the doctor has said, okay, now we've weaned you off of it. We want you to maintain by,
Mhm.
eating healthy, drinking, getting your proper sleep, and reducing stress and all of those things that are going to
Mhm.
add to the success of you maintaining the healthy weight. And so, yes. So now, how many of your patients are diabetics? Because do you have to be a diabetic in order to be on GLP-1, or are there people that are not diabetics that are on GLP-1s?
Yes, you do not have to be a diabetic to be on GLP-1s. Harvest is a self-pay practice. We do accept FSA, HSA care credit, and our prices are affordable for the amount of time spent and the counseling given. On a monthly basis, you're seen when it comes to the GLP-1s would also be through the same format where it's self-pay and you would receive them from the manufacturer themselves. In a traditional setting, unfortunately, we're experiencing a significant decrease in insurance coverage for the weight loss medications. At this point, a lot of commercial insurances have denied coverage for the GLP-1s unless you have heart disease or unless you have a sleep apnea that is severe to the point of where you're dependent on a CPAP, which is a machine to help you to experience a greater pressure throughout your sleep to keep you breathing, or if you have type 2 diabetes. So if you do not have those medical conditions, but you meet that BMI criteria that I had mentioned earlier on, that is like the percentage of fat in alignment with the height to measure that eligibility criteria, putting you in an obese category. Those are the criteria that we're looking at outside of medical conditions as far as being considered for coverage. Otherwise, even with those things, if you don't have heart disease, or if you don't have sleep apnea or type 2 diabetes, you may not qualify for insurance coverage, but you can still qualify for the medication. The medication, again, it applies to anyone who meets that BMI criteria. So that BMI criteria alone, as long as it is a certain number, so specifically 30, if your BMI is 30 or greater, even if you don't have type 2 diabetes, you can take Zepbound or Wegovy. Medications like Ozempic and Mounjaro that are also GLP-1s should not be prescribed unless you have type 2 diabetes. Otherwise, you will be taking away medication that's more necessary for someone who has a high A1C and is at risk of experiencing complications from diabetes versus taking a medication like Zepbound or Wegovy that's been made specifically available for patients who don't have type 2 diabetes but still want to use that medication to help them along their way in their journey.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Um,
Mhm.
good information. So, how does one avoid once this is very important, once they have lost the weight and they don't want to be on that seesaw, the roller coaster going up and down, how does one avoid regaining their weight loss? That's what a lot of folks want to know because it happens.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's the answer, is that it happens. What we want to do is we want to practice the behavioral counseling side of things that help you to cope now with those thoughts that will come. Food noise is a term that patients may come using, saying that they constantly think about eating, or maybe they experience emotional eating. And now that they've taken something like Zepbound, the light has turned off. Now they're good to go. Now they can go about their day and they don't think about food all the time. But when it comes to coming off the medication, now they're concerned that the food noise is going to come back and it's going to be overwhelming and I'll never be able to live my life again. So, whether you have a medication like a GLP-1 or not, when you experience a significant amount of weight loss, you are going to experience that consciousness. You're going to be conscious of what you're eating, when you're going to eat it, what's going to keep you full. When you go on a trip, you know how that's going to go, or when you have a long drive on the road, where will you stop to eat? You know, we're always going to have consciousness of that, and our weight is going to fluctuate as well, even in the form of practicing a balanced lifestyle, exercising and dieting. We are not going to experience a significant amount of regain because we're practicing the lifestyle changes that we've been practicing along the way to get us to that point. When it comes to finding your balance, you can practice moderation as well. So you may experience a little fluctuation if you go out for crabs over the weekend, but you can expect to continue your regimen and allow that water weight to come back off. As we get older, our metabolism slows down. So that's something that naturally happens, as it should. But with that being said, we can expect to maybe give ourselves a margin. Whenever I see patients for the first time and we discuss weight loss goals, I ask them to just expand a range for themselves. so that they can experience, if I have a cap for what I don't want to see on the scale, let me bring my goal up to that point so that I can keep my original goal, but I can give myself some grace to kind of bounce back and forth naturally, because our weight does fluctuate. We're living beings, so that's what it's going to do.
Right, right. And so it sounds so positive, so wonderful what Harvest can do. And folks want to know, does Harvest accept any type of insurance for the services that Harvest offers?
Yes, so Harvest is a self-pay program. We have a complimentary visit that you can come in and pretty much experience a consultation. You can get a full idea of what that full approach will look like for you as an individual. You can find out about medications and which medication may suit you best based on your medical conditions, and then you can make the decision after that. With Harvest, you can visit harvestweightandlifestyle.com and you can see the pricing. We only have two flat rates. For the first rate, the first visit is a full 60-minute visit, specifically on kind of like an annual primary care visit where we're getting all of your medical history, and then we're doing the same thing for your weight as well, getting all of your history on what you've tried, what you're looking for, what you've experienced, and all those things. And then we're doing a mini counseling session included in that first visit where we're going over all of the different approaches to lifestyle and then breaking it down to a couple of goals to work on for you. So you'll be able to walk away with something to work on that will actually yield results. And then we're closing the visit with labs. So we're obtaining your labs, a full set of labs on everything that your primary care doctor would check. Some patients ask about hormonal testing and cortisol level testing. We don't want to make it too complicated. We really want to address the root and also screen for any conditions related to weight loss that will give us guidance on how to progress your weight loss and also your health, so that again you walk away with knowledge on how to reduce your cholesterol levels and manage your blood pressure and how to maintain a healthy A1C, and then also regulate your cravings and things like that. And then we go over medication options to close the visit. So all of that is priced at $195. And then I do accept HSA, FSA, and Care Credit, so you can use those resources as well. And then follow-ups are on or at a monthly basis, and they are $75 per visit, which aligns with some co-pays out there that you may pay for weight loss practices. But the follow-ups involve that deep dive of dietary, exercise, behavioral counseling, in addition to including your medical conditions and managing those in alignment with your lifestyle, and then medication management as well, regarding monitoring for side effects, for effectiveness, and minimizing complications. And then medications, these are all FAQs on my website under the contact section on harvestweightandlifestyle.com. But medications are also self-pay, but they can be obtained through the GoodRx app for discounts as well, specifically for the oral options. And we do offer the most recent push out of the latest weight loss medication, Wegovy oral tablets, which are as low as $149 per month supply. So you get a full month supply of an FDA approved regulated medication that is safe, that you can only pay $149 for, versus all of the other options out there now, which start at $299 for the injectable options.
Excellent, excellent. So, as we wind down, we're almost at the end of our program here, the podcast. Can you give us the exact way to contact you? How will my audience be able to contact you? Your website, any type of phone numbers, email addresses? What would you like my listeners to know? How to contact?
Yes. You can go on to harvestweightandlifestyle.com and you can schedule a free visit and we can have a full conversation there. That's the best thing to do. The FAQ section is also helpful if you have questions that you just need answered. A lot of them are common questions that are always asked. If you would like to email me, you can email me at info at harvestweightandlifestyle.com. I'm also on social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook at Harvest Weight and Lifestyle.
Excellent. Wonderful. Any closing remarks before we sign off?
Yes. So obesity, it really has become an epidemic of a chronic condition. And it's not just a one size fits all quick fix scenario. Although it may look nice right now with the results that you may be seeing on social media, really address the root of it, really get to the behavior side of it. It doesn't have to be associated with guilt and shame. Give yourself grace and get yourself ready to start the journey of a lifestyle change. I do offer a weight loss Kickstarter guide if you want to make the change, but you don't know if you are ready for a full blown engagement that incorporates accountability. On another level, then go ahead onto Harvest Weight and Lifestyle. You can download my free pamphlet under my services section. If you wanted to scroll down further on that page, you can go to the Shopify link on that page and you can get your weight loss Kickstarter that will give you tangible tips on receiving results for your weight loss and also getting started on making some healthy behavioral changes for yourself.
Oh, that's wonderful. I
Yes.
appreciate so much that you were able to come and be my special guest, Miss Montria Martin, Harvest Weight and Lifestyle Medicine.
Thank
So,
you.
yes, thank you. We'll have to have you back and collaborate, do some
Yes,
collaborations. Okay.
100%.
All right. Okay, everyone. So that winds up our show. Until next time, I'm your natural health consultant, weight loss coach, Gail Dixon McBride. Stay healthy and business savvy. Enjoy the wonderful, beautiful day and weather, everyone. Ta ta for now. Signing off.